Okay guys, you've seen the thumbnail and you know what this video is about. Today we unbox the Mojave EXB. This thing is 7th scale and it is really cool. Now I put a poll out and this is the car that you guys picked and I couldn't be happier. I think you guys did a great job of choosing this one. I've wanted one of these for a while now and now I have one. Now this is a roller, so it comes without any of the electrics, no servo, no radio, no speed control, none of that good stuff. This is just the rolling chassis and a body, which is fine because I think I have the equipment here to put it together in a pretty respectable fashion. So today we're going to get this out, we're going to show you what you get in the box, which really isn't all that much, and then we're going to put this thing together and we're going to take it out and we're going to test it. So let's get it out of the box and check it out. I've seen this work before. We're going to try it again. Wish me luck. Oh man, nothing? That's better. Whew, nice. Okay, so what we get in the box is we get this packet here and it's got the manual in it. It's got some parts here for your shock absorbers. It's got a tool kit and it looks like it comes with at least one pinion. So that's all we should need to get this thing up and running except for the electronics, so that's good. Also, one of the most enjoyable things you can do with a new car. There we go. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Let's get inside this thing. There we go. But before we get down inside of this thing, check this out. Look at the detail in that. It is just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. The attention to detail is stunning. Look at that, guys. That is so well done. And inside, look at the cage in the top. See that? That actually hooks onto here to support the body. They think of everything. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's get you on the bench. Okay, guys, looks like your typical layout here. It's got the body braces, and you know, these are a weak point. Look how easy that flexes. And people are breaking these all over the place, but I think I have a fix for that right out of the gate. I'll show you what that is. It's got the typical bumper on the front, just like the standard Mojave. Swing arms look the same. Pretty sure this has the upgraded differentials in it, which is nice. And of course, it has nothing special in it. It does have the heavier chassis. It does have the 70-75 braces in it and the shock towers. And it's got the upgrades down in the arms. So that's pretty nice. All in all, fairly basic as far as that goes, but it should be really tough. So let's show you what we're going to put inside this thing. Okay guys, so let's start with the radio. We're going to use this DX5C. This is a new one to me. I just picked it up a few days ago. Haven't had a chance to play with it yet. It's supposed to hold plenty of kits and all that stuff. It's supposed to be pretty quick. So this will be a good shakedown for that. Marrying up with that, I've got an AVC receiver. This one is a 6-channel and it's waterproof and should do the job nicely. I'm going to use a tried and true BLX 185 speed control. That's plenty to control this Apex 2250. It's a 476 Apex motor. It's a 4-pole, and I've used this before. It's pretty powerful. And on top of that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use a 35 kilogram servo. So that should do the job nicely. It's all metal inside and it looks pretty durable. Okay guys, so the first thing we want to do here is we want to go ahead and get the motor mount off so that we can connect the motor to it. So we'll slide that out. There we go. Now with the motor attached, we're going to go ahead and slip it back in. And I already had the brace on this one, so I didn't have to mount it. Okay, you'll notice the fan's in the way. This one's just held on by zip ties, so we're just going to twist it out of the way like that, give it a fit. Oh, not quite, a little bit more. Come on. There we go. There, now look down and make sure that the teeth mesh. Don't forget a little Loctite. Now, don't overdo it with the Loctite here, guys, but a little Loctite certainly helps keep things in order. So set your spacing. There you go. And then tighten this one up first. It'll help you hold it in place. I've noticed that when you tighten the outside one first, it has a tendency to walk. Okay, get them nice and tight, but don't overdo it here, guys, but nice and tight. There you go. Sounds good. Okay, now we want to go ahead and put the servo in. So let's take the restrainers out, and those are what hold the servo down. And we're going to set those aside. Keep an eye on the actual shape of the servo mount itself. See how it's a different shape? Make sure you put it back in the same direction it came out. So now we're just going to go ahead and pull this whole assembly out real quick. It's a little easier to manipulate it with that out, so we're going to go ahead and pull it. There we go. There's a faster way to do this, so we'll break these loose. We'll just get the speed gun on it. There we go. 1, 2, and the last one there. There we go. And it comes right out. Now notice the shape, guys. Make sure you put it back in the same direction. Now we put the servo in, we're just going to go ahead and mount it again. And I'd show you, but that's a pretty simple procedure. We'll go ahead and run these in here. Since we're running into aluminum here, I like to start them by hand to make sure we don't get any cross threading. Once they're started, run them down easily. Don't torque them with the gun, just run them down nice and close. And then torque them by hand, guys. There we go. And on the EXB here, you are threading into aluminum, so that's an upside. Nice. So there's your servo sitting there, ready to go. Now we're going to go ahead and add the speed control, so we need to get the brace out, the bracket. There's the mounting plate, and just like that, there's your mounting plate. So let's go ahead and take out the screws, get ready to mount the speed control. There we go. Nice. Now I'm using the BLX 185, so we'll put it in its normal orientation and fix it down with the screws. If you're using an aftermarket speed control, you may have to have an adapter plate or what have you. This is the type that normally goes in these cars, so the threading is straight in. It's no problem. It mounts right up. Same thing can be said for the Spectrum servo or the Spectrum speed control that goes with these cars. So there we go. Snug them down. This is kind of limber plastic here, guys, so don't overdo it with the screws. Okay, set it right back down in the same position. Make sure you don't have any binding on your wires. There you go. And reattach it. Run those in. And there's 4 screws on this, guys. There we go. And number 4. Beautiful. Okay, check the torque on those. There we go. Again, threading into plastic on this, guys, so nice and easy. Good. All right, now we're going to have to route our wires, so let's get things organized here. Battery plug, and we'll go ahead and connect the motor. Now, there's no real wrong way to connect these, guys. If you're running backwards, just reverse 2 of these 3 leads that come off the back of the motor, but I'm running them 1, 2, 3 on the speed control and the motor. There we go. Tuck them down out of the way. There we go. Nice and clean. Now we need to get into the radio box. So let's go ahead and remove the cover. And there's 4 screws on this too as well, guys. There you go. And a little 2-sided tape. And we're going to go ahead and set this with the horizontal orientation. Since this has an AVC unit in it, you need to get it down nice and snug. There we go. Let's go ahead and turn it on and sync it to the radio. Now this is the first time we've paired this, guys, so you get your radio on. There we go. Now there's a button on the receiver. Push the button before you turn the power on. There you go. It'll blink. Now it's ready to be paired. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and sync it so it's full throttle, pause, brake, full brake, pause, turn the steering wheel to the right, pause, to the left, pause, and it'll beep. There you go. And now everything works. Sweet. Turn it off to save it. There we go. Radio synced. So we're going to go ahead and put the cover on. And you'll notice that there's a white block on top of the radio box. I don't like the factory mounts that they use for the antenna. You have to run your cable out and around to it, which costs you length. So I build my own. They're waterproof. They sit on top, and I don't lose antennas off of this, and it gets full length on the aerial. So I find they work really well. So that's what that white block is, guys. There we go. Now tighten them down. There we go. And this is just to snug down that silicone O-ring that's on top of the lid there to keep the water out. Beautiful. All good. Okay guys, we're out at the local park and we brought the Mojave. So we got a couple of backup cars in case we trash them, but we are gonna put these things to the test. We've got some pretty cool looking terrain to play on today. So this is what's going on. Okay guys, so there you have it. That's the run for the Mojave EXB. Now, we've run it several times. You saw a video of the first run. We took it up and we bashed it at the cabin. We hit the ramps and stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't get footage of that. However, we did have a good time with this thing, and it was a substantial test. And since we got to run more than 6 sets of batteries through it, I'd say I understand this car pretty well. Now, the cool thing about this car is it's fast. It's fast, it's durable, and it controls very nicely. Now, one of the cool things about this that I really enjoy is, and I was really surprised about this, guys, is it looks a lot like the UDR when it's running. The way it crouches in the corners, the way it just looks like it's off the chain the whole time, yet it's controllable. This little car is not so little, but it's a blast to play with. So let's get the top off and I'll show you what's going on inside. Okay, there's one issue in here, guys, that most people are having problems with, and this also is the same as the regular Mojave. And what it is these brackets right here, they have a tendency to break off. And you know, Rob's got one of these cars and he's already on his 3rd set of chassis braces. And what it is these are really flexible up here, where the pin goes through. This whole thing is just like super flexible, and that causes problems. Now, I did come up with a solve. I did wreck this quite a few times, and I hit things pretty substantially with it, and mine are still intact. And I'll show you what that is right now. Okay, here we go, guys. Now, this is your standard brace. This came on the car. There's nothing special about it. However, underneath in this area here, going end to end, there's a channel. And that channel's about this deep, and it's just about right to put an inbed in there. Now, what I used is standard carbon fiber, and this looks like about an 1/8 inch thick sheet. And I created a rod that goes end to end to give this lots of strength. Now it's tough. It holds up really well, and I just used hot glue, guys, to hold that in there, fill it in well. It didn't give it all. It held perfectly, and you can't see it from the top. So it doesn't change the look of the vehicle with the body off. It still looks just like a factory one, but underneath you've got that brace. Now, what's cool about that is, just to keep things from flexing the wrong way, I added a zip tie here, and I added a zip tie right there just to keep it so it wouldn't pull the other direction. The hot glue did hold well, guys. That's not a problem. Make sure your gun is good and hot when you go to do that so it's real pliable. And wear some decent gloves when you put your embed in, because that hot glue sticks to your fingers and it burns. So use something to pad yourself between the hot glue, and then once you get it down in the embed, coat it with some more hot glue, and it should look like that. Now, I've gotten really busy with this car, and there is literally no damage on any of these parts, so I know it works. And like I say, guys, you know, Rob's broke several of these things already, and I do have a video upcoming that's going to show you exactly how to do this modification, and you'll get to see how everything goes together so that, you know, you can check it out for yourself and see if it warrants doing. I highly recommend it. You know, like I say, we went up, Rob broke his, and he didn't have nearly the impacts that I did, and mine held up. So I really think it's a good thing. So let's talk about the car as a whole. Now, it's 7 scale, so it's big. You know, it looks, well, we might as well get her out and have a look at it, because this is the one I compare it to. A and B, the 2 cars. Here, let's get you a little better view there. There you go. A and B, the 2 cars. This is the Traxxas UDR, and this is the EXB Mojave. And initially, since the UDR is a scale representation, and what I mean by that is, do you see how the chassis is built? It's not built anything like the Mojave. Now, you hold up the Mojave, and you'll see it's built like most of the ARMA cars out there. It's got a flat pan chassis. It does have the 7075 chassis in it, the braces, the shock towers, all made out of that newer aluminum, and it's really durable. I had some pretty good impacts. Chassis is still straight, and I literally had nothing come apart. The wheels held up. I didn't have anything come loose in that direction. The motor seemed to be just about exactly the same as what came in Rob's. So we ran them side by side, both UDRs, or excuse me, both Mojaves, and he's got the 6S Mojave and I've got the EXB. And with my equipment in there, they ran pretty much side by side, guys. It was a beautiful thing. It's not like there was a blowout and I'd outrun him all the time. His was just about as fast as mine. And for me, I thought that was perfect because I'm not out to see how fast these things will go. I'm not trying to blow the tires off all the time. I like the way they're designed. I just try to make them a little tougher. Now on this car in particular, there really wasn't a lot to do. And that being said, guys, you know, part of what I like about doing this is I get to see these cars the way they were designed. I get to run them through their paces and just see if they're gonna hold up. Now, one of the cool parts about this is substantial. You know, dude, it is literally right on me here. Look how big that car is. If you've seen the channel, you know I'm about 6.5 feet tall. And look at the size of that. I'm not holding it out to the camera. It's right up against me. That tire's touching. Look how big it is. That's what a real RC car, in my opinion, feels like. And I hate to pick a side of the fence here, guys, because I love all the RC cars that are out there. But 10 scale feels more like a toy to me, and the 8 scale stuff feels real. The 8 scale stuff feels more like machinery, and the 10 scale stuff feels a little more toy grade to me, although they're fast and durable and fun. The bigger ones just sing to me a little better, and you know, that's just one of those things. I can't explain it. This one feels real. This one feels like it's gonna be a blast to play with every time you dig it out, and it is spooky quick when you pin it. If you take off from a dead start, now I did put the gyro in this one, so it does help with control. But when you pin it from a dead start, it lights everything up and it skitters like a cat running from a dog. It is the most impressive thing to see. And I gotta tell you guys, where I'm gonna place this in my list is still up in the air a little bit for me because this thing really is a blast. I'd like to tell you about the shortcomings of the car itself, but literally I broke nothing on the car. It held up perfectly. I had no issues whatsoever. We ran a lot of batteries through it and it held up perfectly. So that says a lot. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you know the Vortex right down there. The Vortex has the tough truck category lead right now, being able to take it out and beat it up and break literally nothing. Now, this is a much bigger car. It's dealing with much more weight and everything is still unbroken in this car. And you guys know how I drive, right? I get it for all it's worth. I don't intentionally try to break stuff, but every now and then things get out of pocket. And this is a short course truck. So when you get it going and you get into a corner a little and it offsets, it rolls. That's just the way these things are. It rolls like crazy and you've seen it in the video, so you know how that goes. Still, even with the cartwheeling and tumbling that goes along with this and the heavy impacts that this took, because it does get a little out of pocket, it goes quite fast. This broke nothing. Everything is still in perfect functioning condition. And I have to tell you guys, this one is taking over in the tough truck category. As far as out of the box goes, the Mojave is the toughest car I own. That being said, I guess we're down to our 4 questions. And if you watch the channel, you know what they are. Is it fun? Is it durable? Is it worth the money? And then where does it stack up in my collection? So let's get on with it. Question 1. Is it fun? Hell yes, this is fun. As big as it is, as substantial as it feels when it's running, it just feels off the chain. You know, you guys know I love the Centon. This is the Centon squared, and it's way tough. It's way controllable with the gear that I put in it. And of course, you get this as a roller, so you have to add your own gear. I put average servo in it. It was 35 kilograms, so it was strong. But I put a decent servo in it. I put a BLX 185 speed control in it, which is pretty much stock for the ARRMA 6S, at least in the version 4 stuff. This is before they went to Spectrum. On top of that, I did put a DX5C radio in it, which is a Spectrum radio, and I did put an AVC controller in it. So basically, it's kind of equivalent to a stock car from nowadays. and I didn't really boost all the power all that much, but it's still fast enough to thrill you. So this car, is it fun? You know, rating that, I'm gonna have to say on the fun rating, this one gets 9 out of 10. And the reason it gets 9 out of 10 and not a full 10 is because this is a stadium racing truck, and it's not really designed to hit the big ramps and soar. The body has a tendency to work like an umbrella, and it can be difficult to land this thing. Other than that, it's off the chain, and that's the score it gets. And question number 2, is it durable? Well, I already told you this won the tough truck category for what I have to date. That means this one pulls down a rock solid 10 out of 10 for durability. Like I say, when you get down and have a look at it, the chassis, it is still perfectly straight. There's no damage on any of the components. The shock towers are straight. Even the new improved ends they put on the shocks, I didn't break anything inside of there. All the chassis braces are still tight. It's still like it just came out of the box, but it's got some dirt on it now. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for durability. Question 3, is it worth the money? Well, you know, that's subjective, guys. This is a big car, and it has a pretty big price tag. Now, when you look at the box, it doesn't seem that daunting because it's less than the other cars on the shelf. But keep in mind, guys, this doesn't come with the radio, doesn't come with a speed control, doesn't come with servo, and it doesn't come with batteries and a charger, which a lot of them don't, but still, it doesn't come with any of that stuff. So by the time you add all those components up, you're into it for quite a bit, guys. For me, you know, since I enjoy this the way I do, and I like to share this with you guys, for me, it's worth the money, absolutely. However, if money's tight for you, it may not be. You know, you could get by with buying a 6S version like Rob proved. It's just as fast as what I have here. It does have some failings. If you do some minor upgrades to that one, you can get it about the same playing field as this, but you won't have the heavier chassis. You won't have the 70-75 braces or shock towers or any of the new upgrades, but it does have the same arms, and it can be made pretty durable with a small upgrade on, say, the shock ends. That's real important because those do break on the regular. And, you know, if you're having problems breaking those mounts for the body, dude, really, just some carbon fiber and hot glue, and you can fix that problem. Now, I've seen other YouTubers putting foam inside of this block, and what I mean is right in here. So they put a little foam block in there to try and absorb some of the impact here, and that really could help. You know, it won't do much for these outer tabs, but it could keep you from breaking these, because Rob's even broken those. What I'm suggesting with the carbon fiber won't help with the overall basket, but it'll stop from breaking the tabs off, and that's usually the biggest failing in the truck. As far as these snap off pretty regular, these things can crack and break on this loop, but that's, you know, it's still going to hold up for a while, so that's okay. With some small modifications, you can get a regular 6S to move like this, act like this, and handle like this for less money. So what's the rating on this for question number 3? Well, I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna give this one a solid 9 out of 10, because when you do get it, you do have to do some building. It's understood that you're buying a roller to start with, but you still have to get the right components to make it work good. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see what I put in this, but at the end of the day, for value and all that good stuff, you're gonna have to just go with 9 out of 10 for cost. Okay, guys, and question number 4, where does this car stack up in my collection? And you know, my collection is pretty decent, and we do have a UDR sitting right on the top, and we did a brutal review for that, and it really did well. It's sitting at the number 3 position, and that says a lot, right behind the Creighton EXB, and that's sitting right down here. So behind that, it's, you know, it's a pretty good car. It's sitting in number 3. However, the Mojave is taking over the 3rd spot, bumping the UDR down to 4th. So sitting in 3rd place, the Mojave EXB. Hey guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It's awesome when you do. And don't forget that notification bell to stay informed. You know, you guys picked this car for me, and I'm really glad you chose this one. The one it was running up against is 10th scale, and like I said, I really like the bigger trucks, so you guys did awesome. So until next time, I'm AJ with AJJAMStudios saying, keep bashing, guys.